So first of all, I just wanted to apologize for my not so formal presentation, like with a full get up and everything. I'm currently in the process of moving, so I don't really have a whole bunch of clothes, and I only have my nightstand and my piano chair to work off of, so this is what I'll be working with. But for this assignment, I found this to be a very interesting assignment, and I just want to go ahead and get started. For my leadership topic, I decided to talk about cross-cultural leadership, and I'll also include this as well, just so you can review. But cross-cultural leadership I found to be most important because in my job right now, we are one of the top global companies for access control in the world. We're based out of Spain, but I work obviously in the United States hub. And what I found is that culture it's everywhere. There's a culture for anything and everything. Simply in your small team, let's say of a marketing department, you would have a marketing department culture. Any department that you're in, there's a culture. But even more so, the idea of cross-cultural leadership focuses on the ethnicity, diversity, demographics, and psychographics of people to be able to accurately learn how to lead these people to where your cultures mesh and that the culture of your job meshes no matter what culture that any individual may have. So first, what is cross-cultural leadership? Cross-cultural leadership specifically is the attempt to try to understand how people's cultures work, and then also at the same time understanding your own culture so that you can relate and work better with that person. On what it looks like including more diversity into your work culture. So cross-cultural leadership is from the standpoint of the leader investing into the cultures and diversities of each person to be able to make sure that each person is heard, valued, and what they bring to the table is valued for the betterment of the team or for the betterment of the company. And then lastly, it focuses on taking the goals or taking the skills of all cultures to mesh with the goal or the mission of the company. One of the biggest things that I learned throughout all of my classes at the end of the day was your mission statement, your vision statement, what are your goals? Like, that's the biggest thing about a business. So in cross-cultural leadership, it focuses on why does cross-cultural leadership, why does that have such an impact on our mission statement? How do we tie that back to our mission statement? How do we tie it back to our vision statement? So any leader that is in this position of having multiple different cultures and learning how to mesh them, they need to learn how to mesh them not only from a relational standpoint, but how does it meet our end goal? How does it meet our overall mission statement? And it's really important for the leader, no matter what situation they're in, to always be mindful of this, as well as being mindful of many other things. And you'll find that throughout this presentation, awareness is key. If you're a leader with multiple people, with multiple different cultures, it's so important to be aware of who they are as an individual and what role they play in our team, in our organization, in our department, in our global company. It's all very important. So, with that being said, why is it so important? It is so important because it creates room for more learning and more opportunity. It even increases globalization. So we've learned about globalization in a lot of our classes for leadership. Globalization is the idea of making this world a smaller place by getting to know each other, knowing each other's tics, knowing each other's cultures, knowing each other's just customs and respects. But with that being said, like I said in my first point, it creates room for more learning and more opportunity. So to step into the place of globalization, we have to learn about other cultures. We have to be aware of other cultures. We have to give the opportunity to express ourselves and allow other people to express their cultures because they bring something to the table that you just don't bring to the table. And the next, it gives opportunities for cultures to be expressed. So, as you know, if you're a leader and you have a whole bunch of followers, the only followers that are really going to want to follow you are the ones that feel like they're being heard by you, are the ones that feel like they have a relationship with you. And it gives opportunities for those relationships to be grown. So if you're a leader and you're not creating room, let's say you have your entire team is all one culture, They're all from the same place, all doing the same thing. They all grew up the same. Each one still needs to be heard. So in the group setting of having multiple different cultures, if you're a cross-cultural leader and you're trying to cross cultures over each other, you have to make sure that you seize the opportunity for a relationship to be grown to where each person is heard and each person gets the freedom to express however they want to express, obviously within respect of the company. So an example of that would be anything fun or anything in a work environment. Let's say in your culture, it's very custom to make a certain kind of food. Have a day where people bring in their own cultural foods. I know that's very high school, but that's actually very awesome and a smart idea. You can think as adults, sometimes we get in the blah, 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 blah of the full-time job. No, it's supposed to be a fun time. And I know in my job, I'm so blessed to work for a company that focuses on this. Every single person in my US hub is so culturally aware, and everyone is expressive in their own culture, and they give us opportunities to do that. So we often have grill outs where we all just talk, hang out, and we get to know each other outside of the workplace, so that when we do work with each other, we have respect for their culture, respect for their personality, respect for who they are, so that when they bring it to the table, we're already aware of whatever thing they might be bringing to the table and how they might deliver it, and have more grace, have more opportunity to learn and grow about that person. So you've heard me say awareness a lot throughout this video. So we're going to talk about cultural awareness and cultural intelligence, or otherwise known as CI or CQ, cultural intelligence. Cultural awareness, the definition for that I found and what I found to be most fitting is it's having a good understanding of your own culture so that you have a better understanding of the cultures around you. It's kind of true, because if the more we know that ourselves, the more that we can be aware of those around us. So it's important to have cultural awareness so that we can actually go out and be able to understand people better, instead of just blindly walking around assuming we know everything. And the next is cultural intelligence, otherwise known as CQ. And I found this definition, and this was a really good definition. I just copied and pasted the thing, and I put the reference in there because it was just so perfect. It says, it's the ability to cross boundaries and thrive in multiple cultures. So you have the awareness, which is the ability to be aware of your own culture, to have the opportunity to learn about other cultures and be aware of other cultures. But your CQ tests how well you are actually crossing those boundaries of different cultures. How good are you at being not only aware, but stepping into someone else's shoes and being aware to represent them properly and represent yourself properly across multiple cultures. So it's not just one, it's not just two, it's multiple cultures. So, and then for this one, I kind of wanted to explain what culture in the workplace kind of looks like. Like I said, for me, it has been so important to work for a company that is culturally aware, and that meets that high CQ level of having a high cultural intelligence. Yes, I still work in corporate America, but it is a private company, and I found that companies that focus on their people and focus on their employees always succeed. We at Salto Systems, a company based in Spain, we have multiple hubs across the world. We are located in 90 different countries with about 650 employees. And although I don't talk to the people in Spain all the time, although I don't talk to our Scotland hub all the time, although I don't talk to my Canadian hub all the time or my Mexico hub all the time, when I do speak with them, everyone is very culturally aware, and it meshes so well. And so when I was creating this, I kept a lot of these facts that I found in awareness of what I see in my environment. And so I kind of want to reflect those here as I read off these facts. CCL, which is cross-cultural leadership, it has been said that it encourages employees to have a 373% stronger sense of their purpose in the workplace. So if you're culturally aware, and you're culturally aware of what the goal of the company is, and culturally aware of the other people that you work with, you know your purpose and your role in your company, which creates more room and more avenue for you to be able to not only have more security in your purpose and your role in your job, but to now cross over that CQ, cross over those other cultural boundaries, and perform at the level that the company needs you to perform. CCL often results in a 747% higher chance of having an engaging team with a higher efficiency. Like I just said, if your leader is coming up to you and they're asking you about you as a person, you and your culture, you and your personality, hey, where'd you grow up? What'd you do? Like, tell me something that's unique about you. I promise you, any person that invests into you, you're going to invest into them in whatever way possible. What I see with my boss is he asks me all the time, hey, how's your weekend? And not just a, how's your weekend? Have a good night, because it's a pass by. It's because he genuinely cares. Hey, how's your weekend? I know you had a lot going on. He knows I'm getting ready to be married. And yes, although that's a big deal and people can talk about it, a lot of corporate America bosses aren't kind enough to actually genuinely be invested into somebody's wedding. They actually might get ticked off if you take too much PTO, and my job offered so much more PTO than what I could have asked for. With that being said, cross-cultural leadership, being aware of other people's cultures and what they're going through and how their personalities work, I promise you, they're going to return the favor by being more efficient and working better as a team. And if you do that for everybody, everybody's going to be happy. Now, you can't please everybody, but if you at least invest as a leader into each culture and learning how to cross that, you're going to be a lot better off. And then we have cross-cultural leadership with many cultures leads to stronger relationships. Like I just said, you're investing to someone. It's not just a work relationship anymore. It's a genuine relationship with the person that you work with, which creates the higher efficiency. And then lastly, cross-cultural leadership with many cultures creates room for newer and fresher ideas. This is something that I learned from one of my past class. I cannot remember, but this was stuck out to me so much. It said that the more diversity you have on the team, the more struggle you have with communication, the more struggle you have with getting things done, the more struggle you have with meshing the culture. But the good part of it is that you actually have newer ideas, fresher ideas, things that you haven't ever heard before, because there are so many different cultures. There are so many different diversities. There are so many different races and ethnicities of people that come in, and they give so much more than what you could have ever thought, or the person that thinks very similarly to you. And now you take the risk of maybe struggling to communicate, but it outweighs so much more. So we see companies, big companies like Google, oh my gosh, they take care of their people so well. And then even more so, they have so many different cultures. Why? Because they're a global company. They're a global company. They're on top of the globalization pier, and they have so many different cultures working for them, and they specifically look for more diversity in their company because they're always looking for new ideas. And to me, that sounds pretty smart. And I've seen this in my own workplace and doing research on it. I found it very interesting to see this. So what does this mean for the average person that doesn't really know? What does this mean for you? Learn more about cross-cultural leadership. It's so important because it's not only good for you as a follower, but it's good for you as a leader wherever you may be, being aware of other people's cultures. And pay attention to companies around you that have a high diversity. It is so important because when you get in there, you want to know that they treat you like you're a person and that they respect your culture, they respect where you come from and what you do and your personality. And so I think one of the good sure signs of a good company is how high their diversity level is. And then lastly, make sure you engage in expanding your cultural intelligence and awareness. There are tests that you can take online, there are assessments that you can take online, and then you can go in and practice those things to make sure that you're becoming more culturally aware and more culturally sound. And these are my references. Thank you for your time. And I will also make sure to send this over to you so that you can actually read it in more detail. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day.